Hello.
Yeah, that's your name.
Squirrels got me.
Big Jim.
Yeah.
Really, 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 really cold and fun.
Cold and fun.
Cold and fun.
That's good that you think that of it, because that's what deer hunting typically is cold and fun. Yeah.
Yesterday morning, I'm glassing up on the pass, and I see these deer moving, and I'm like, ooh, there's some deer moving. All of a sudden, I just see this person just head down, just hauling ass, wearing shorts and a t-shirt with a pack on. And I'm like, is that Tard? My dad always talks about floating through the woods like the autumn breeze.
So Robert's
when you're
the
275
ghost,
pounds, I don't know how you do that, but
the Freightliner. It's just like a creeper. You're just kind of up in the corner watching what's going on down there.
Yeah.
You know,
he's like,
he's up there slapping it, pissing all over everything.
Is it warm yet?
How did you know the name of the actor?
I know.
Why did you say his name?
Hervé Villechaize.
You know what pert near means.
If you know what pert near means and you live in America, you're a redneck too.
Welcome to the Log Talk Podcast, brought to you by Pert Near Outdoors.
It's that time of year. It's that time of year where we all need to be thinking about, do we have everything we need to hit the woods? Chances are you don't, and if you think you do, you probably could use some more. So how about you go over to thehuntworks.com and check out all the incredible products these guys are carrying. This is a great family, local store. Dan and Steve Dunnigan, a couple hardworking sumbitches. They are now carrying archery equipment, everything from bows to arrows to broadheads, quivers, you name it. So on top of all the great tree stands and box blinds that they're carrying, they're now a full-on archery dealer, and really recommend that you check these guys out for your next big purchase. Head over to thehuntworks.com to see what they've got for sale, or if you're local in the Rochester area, head on over to their store in East Rochester on Dispatch Drive and check them out. They are on social media, The Huntworks, and also online, like I said. And if you purchase anything online, you can use promo code FEEDIN'Em to get 5% off, and that's FEED, FEEDIN, INUM, 5% off. Feed 'em.
Are we recording?
Hello.
AJ Harris, how are you?
Sir, can you hear me all right?
Yes, I got to get our volume adjusted here a little bit, but I'm hearing you well. Are you hearing me okay?
Yeah, no, I got you on speaker right now. I just want to make sure this sounded clear enough for you.
Yeah, sounds good here. It is now. I had you a little loud on the board. Well, we're live recording, so I can always cut this out. But that's what Billy always does. He hits the record button right when nobody expects it. So, hey, it's good to hear your voice.
Good to hear yours. How were your holidays?
Hey, mine were very interesting. Spent them in the hospital with my wife.
Yep.
But she's good, and that's all that matters. And it was actually a very unique Christmas that we'll never forget. So. How about yours?
Good, very good. No, the
Nice.
girls, we spoiled the girls, and me and Harley took care of them. We hosted, so we had mom and dad and her parents and brothers over. It was very good.
Nice. Well, hey, I'll do a little quick introduction here. Welcome, everybody, to episode 225, Maine season, moose season recap with AJ Harris from Harris Hunting Adventures. AJ's out of Lee, Maine, and anybody that follows us may have heard episode 218. It was entitled Pert Near Crew Heads North to Maine, where Tim and Jimmy and I had gone up to bear hunt with AJ, and we did a podcast last night there, kind of recapped the whole thing and covered a little bit of history with AJ and how we got into guiding. In that conversation, AJ was telling us about a call that he'd received from another guide, if you would, right, AJ, for the Pennsylvania?
Yeah, better.
So that he was going to be taking a fell out archery for moose. And so we were dying to hear how that went. And he ended up sending us a copy of a video that is unbelievable. And we'll ask you to tell about that in a little bit. But so just so you know, AJ, I thought Tim and I are here, and we thought we'd kind of hit on the moose and do a kind of a moose season recap with you, and then talk a little bit about deer season and how that went for you and what went on. I know you got some news up there about your better half's harvest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then we'd talk a little bit about the raffle that you have going between now and I think it's April. So,
No, that all sounds good to me.
yep. And then we'd talk about booking for next year and how that is done, and how it's going, if you're filling up, or how things are going there for you. And
Yep,
then
absolutely.
I thought, based on our text, I thought we would have you hit a little bit on. We talked about merch and to get some swag there from you, and you said that you might plan to have some for this fall, so we'll get an update on that.
This fall, I'm definitely going to have. I'll be stocked back up again. So when Tim comes up, I'll definitely make sure he sends stuff back for you and Jimmy.
There you go.
It-
There you go.
More than just a Moxie shirt that I go home with.
I did like that Moxie shirt. You just got a picture of it.
They're the unofficial sponsor for Pert Near Outdoors podcast and Harris Hunting Adventures.
That's right.
Uniquely different.
Yep. And if your truck's low on oil, you always got your bottle of Moxie, right?
I'm actually very surprised I don't have one going right now, but I don't.
Well, I should have cracked mine out. I brought a couple back with me, and I've drank everything but one. I've got one stashed upstairs.
I had one saved to take a picture of if I got a decent buck this year, and I did, and I didn't have it in my pack with me, and I forgot because I was going to pose and send it to AJ. Thought you'd get a kick out of it, and I dropped the ball and didn't have it with me this year. So,
Well, I was up babysitting the kids up at Jimmy's. Paul and I were back earlier in December, and he goes, "Help yourself to whatever you want to drink in the fridge." So him and Martha left. I think they were going Christmas shopping.
right.
I go out to the fridge, open the door. What do I see? His last Moxie.
Yep. Oh boy.
But I was nice to him. I didn't drink it. I left it there for him. So, well, hey, AJ, kicking off some moose discussion. Tim did a little research. I'm going to let him kind of regurgitate all the information that he picked up, and that'll be kind of a conversation starter for us before we get into the stories. How's that sound?
That sounds good, yeah.
Yeah. So AJ, I was kind of curious on the numbers and whatnot, and I looked and I see, and that kind of what I thought that Maine has the largest moose population in the lower 48 states. Obviously taking Alaska out of it. And you can tell me if any of the numbers I saw were incorrect, but I saw like one search was like around 75,000 moose in the state. Another one was said 60 to 70. So you're looking around 70,000 moose in the state. Does that sound right?
I wouldn't be the guy to ask because obviously I don't hunt moose statewide. I stay home and I hunt the 4 or 5 local sites closest to me, and I can't really speak for the north or western zones, which are very, very good zones, but the way they do that study is Lee Cantor. He's the Lee Maine wildlife biologist just for moose. And they figure out that number. I don't know the exact equation, but they basically just grid search for moose by helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically they get on a path and basically just grid line and fly back and forth. And they fly, obviously they don't fly the entire state, but they fly a certain percentage and then just multiply that percentage by, so it is an estimate, but I would say that's a fair estimate.
Okay. Yeah, and it's
a lot of people. I'll say this: a lot of people say that there's nowhere near as many moose as there was 30 years ago, and the state has a problem, and we're killing too many moose, and the winter ticks are an issue. I don't disagree with any of that, but there are still plenty of moose to go out there and have a successful hunt.
Yep. And it's, we saw a couple moose up there just driving the logging roads, coming out in the evening at night and whatnot. Yeah. But, you obviously know where they're at. You seem to be having pretty good luck with them. But I was looking at, believe it was around 4,100 tags they gave out this year.
Yeah, that's about right, yeah.
Yeah, and I think maybe around, between 5 and 10% go to non-residents. Does that sound right?
10% go to non-residents.
Yeah, so you're looking at 400 tags to non-residents. So I can't remember the number now of the applicants. It was a pretty good number, and one of them is myself. I've been trying for years and got points. So then I stopped for like 2 years and got back in, and after 2 years you lose them. I think you can skip a year, but not more than one.
Yeah, no, I feel like that it's like 70 to 80,000.
Yep, I was thinking
Apple-
70,000 was the app. Yeah.
Wow.
But I figured, well, it's funny because I saw a guy I used to work with was on there this year. He drew it, and I was looking at the H's for Harvey, obviously. And as I scrolled down through, I saw Hopkins, and there's a guy I worked with, Wes Hopkins. I was fairly unique name. It looks in Canandaigua, New York. He's right where I was working, and so I texted him like, "Hey, congratulations on the moose tag," and he's like, "What do you mean?" And I was like,
he didn't have a clue. Did
he didn't have no, and it was like a week or so after, and I usually check, that day or that evening, So yeah, he drew, which was pretty cool. I was happy for him.
Did he go? Do you know?
He did go. He did. I believe looking at it through Facebook and contact, he didn't get one, but he had a great trip.
Yeah.
I didn't get details of who he went with or anything, but
Did you say that was this year, Tim?
yes, it was. Yeah, this last fall.
Last fall, I should say.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, I've been on a couple, 2 or 3 moose hunts. I think it was 3 up in Newfoundland is where I've been, AJ. And I was looking in Canada, Newfoundland and Labrador says they have the largest moose population, based on the lack of predators and food source and everything. But it's quite a trip. Obviously, there's a huge difference between going to Newfoundland and driving to Maine. You just have to pull a tag,
Yeah.
So.
And I was say Newfoundland is over the counter, correct?
Yes.
I was say, I
But
thought you could anyone could buy them.
Yeah, and the prices have changed. When I had gone up there, it was, gosh, I want to say $1,500 to $2,000 for a tag. To go with an outfitter, buy your license, but that's what it was. And then I think now it's up to $5,000 or more thousand.
Which is not bad because you have outfitters in the state of Maine selling lodge tags for 20 or more.
Yes.
Wow.
I was going to ask you how that. I think I asked you before when we were up there, but like so many guides or outfitters, they're given one tag to sell. Is that right?
It's a lottery, and I don't know because I don't reach the criteria, but there's a certain criteria, like you have to have a state certified kitchen, and these aren't exact facts. I know kitchen wise, you have to have certain qualifications, and you have to be able to lodge a certain amount of hunters, and there's a criteria that has to be met before you can even apply for a lodge tag. And obviously, you guys have hunted with me. I don't own my own lodging or have a state certified kitchen, so I'm not eligible for one of them tags.
I see.
But it is lottery, and I can't give you the number. I'm not quite sure how many they actually give out. But if I had to guess, it's probably somewhere around that 10%, just like non-residents.
Wow, no kidding.
AJ, do you think, are those tags given to eligible guides through this lottery, or do the guides have to buy that tag?
Say that one more time, Bill.
So if you're going to give a tag, or a guide is going to get a tag from the state, they meet the criteria, and they were in the lottery, right, for the guides, and they get a camp tag. Do they pay for that, or do they pay when they submit to the lottery?
Yeah, just like if you or I got drawn, lucky you get a moose tag, but you still have to pay for the tag, which it's been so long since I've been drawn. I feel like it's like $200.
Okay.
So I'm not eligible for these tags, so I don't know all the facts on them. But yes, they do have to pay a certain fee for the tag.
Yep.
It's funny what you had said there. I mean, interesting that a couple of years ago, there's another outfitter in Maine I've worked with and stuff and hunted with, and he told me that he had gotten one of those tags, and he had a hunter that bought it up. It snatched it right up, and I believe this a couple of years ago, it was $20,000, 18 to 20 grand. Then he was going to go on a hunt in like British Columbia or Alaska, and he said, you know what, I'll pay the money and and not travel near as far.
Yeah.
But that's that's big money. So
I don't know what it costs someone to go shoot an Alaskan Yukon moose, but if it's more than that, I can't imagine it's much more.
You're right. That's what I thought. I mean, for the whole experience, I love Maine and all. It's a beautiful state, and I love it up there. But I mean, British Columbia or Alaska, that's a cool experience too,
Yeah,
But
for sure.
so yeah, I mean, my experience in Newfoundland was like you'd go into camp. Some we drove in, and some we got flown into, and you get dropped off, and we're living on staying in a cabin. Your guide would take you out. They had specific spots you'd go and sit, and you'd basically spot them. You didn't walk around much. You might go after moose from your point of sitting, but you had a designated spot. You'd go with your guide and sit and watch for a moose. And you saw one, you shoot it. But then, we came back. I was a little disappointed in a few things. I mean, I know they have the rules they have to follow with camp, but you didn't stay late enough for me. I don't mind walking back in the dark,
Yeah.
But you had to leave in enough time to be back by dark. And, it was good, but there's times, there's camp rules that they have to follow. And it was good. I got a moose there and had a fun hunt. It was good, and I loved taking the meat home and the rack. But I'm really interested in hopefully drawing sometime a tag for Maine. I heard about a real good guide up there in Lee that has pretty good success, I think. So
if I had to pick, without lying, I'd probably say bear would have to be my favorite, just because I deal with more hunters, and I don't want to say more action, but it is 2 or 3 weeks straight of 5 or 6 guys a week and trying to get everyone a bear. And on good seasons, we kill 15, sometimes closer to 20 bear. And that's a little more action than 2 or 3 moose. But
yeah,
if I could moose hunt or bear hunt, I would pick moose 10 times out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
But
you seem to be pretty good at it.
it's something special. I know that.
So a couple questions, Bill and I talked about, like, we want to hear the whole story with the bow hunter, but I want to ask you, like, we've talked about the bear hunting and guiding and whatnot, but like, have you been guiding moose hunters just as long as bear, or do you start that before or after, or can you recall?
I have nowhere near, how am I trying to word this? Guiding wise, I have nowhere near the experience with clients.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say I'm every bit as good a moose hunter as I am bear hunter, because I've been on 7 hunts of my own.
Right.
Wow.
Which anyone that's not familiar with the Maine moose hunt, once you get drawn, you have to sit out 3 years, and then you put in that 4th year.
Oh, no kidding. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I got drawn in, I don't remember what year it was, 20. And I just got to be able to put back in the last couple of years. But
okay.
Anyways, I've shot 7, and I've been drawn once in 23 years. But I've shot 6 as a subcommittee, 2 on my father's, 2 on my father's tag, 2 on my sister's, 1 on my mother's, 1 on my grandfather's. And one on a family friend.
Nice.
So I've been on plenty of moose hunts. When it comes to guiding, I've only had, excuse me, less than a handful of clients.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I've also been on probably close to 50 moose hunts between family and grandfather, and going with other guides. And
so that's a lot of experience.
I was
going
like I said, I'd like to have 2 or 3 guided moose hunts a year, but I would say my biggest downfall is the area that I'm in. There are plenty of big, well-known outfitters in the area, and we have very, very good zones in this area, but there's 11, 19, 10, 18. I'm in the junction of those 4 zones, and the biggest one takes 30 bull tags a week.
Wow.
So out of those 30, you might have 2 non-residents, you might have 4 or 5, but that's 4 or 5 non-residents getting fought over by 30 or 40 outfitters.
Oh, okay. I see. I follow you.
So basically the competition is just so high, and it's just hard to come by in this area. And up in like zone 1, you could argue there's probably even more outfitters, but there's 150 bull tags a week.
Wow, no kidding.
So there's a lot more non-resident tags in certain zones just because the volume's so much higher.
So to be clear, like, as a non-resident, you have to have a guide, correct?
I don't, not on a moose hunt.
Really?
To bear hunt, you either have to be a guide or you have to have a Maine's guide license.
Okay.
But moose hunting,
Wow.
I should know this, but I don't. Moose hunting, I don't believe you do. You can come and hunt on your own. I know you can.
Yeah.
No kidding. I mean, I just honestly, I assumed that you did have to do that.
I know the law. I know the law is that to hunt bear in the state of Maine by dog or bait, you need to either hunt with a guide or you need to have your guide's license yourself, because all kinds of, like, New Hampshire residents, New Hampshire guides, they have their Maine guide's license as well. And they'll just bounce from state to state and guide in both states.
Okay.
So a non-resident could legally hunt on his own that way, bear. But moose, I know for a fact that I've known some non-residents that come up and do a lot of cow hunts up in the 4A zone, stuff like that. Either bring tents or campers.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can do it on your own, but it would, I don't want to say foolish because there are great hunters all over, but like you said, I've gone out and killed big bulls on Monday, like that October week this fall, and I've hunted all week and took us till Friday or Saturday just to find one. So
Right.
it's definitely, it's all dependent on weather and what zone you got. And
Yeah, and with
how much,
the scarcity
how
of
much
tags,
you've
you
done.
have to wait so long to get a tag that you'd almost be foolish not to monopolize on a local guide to help
for sure.
help you close that deal.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's what I'm thinking. I wouldn't try that. I mean, I wouldn't know the area. You know, you'd be just, scouting it with maps and, Onyx and things like that. Just, you can't drive there practically, very often to figure it out. So, yeah, a guide is your best bet, for the amount of time and years I put in for it. And I'm sure other people have put in as much or more, but yeah, I would easily hire a guide like yourself to do this. I want to increase my odds, to get a Maine moose. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure.
So, did your first guided hunt for moose, did it go well?
Yeah, that was the September hunt, which is the first bull hunt. That was this fall. It was September 22nd, my anniversary day.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was your anniversary. You did tell us that.
So I had a hunter from Pennsylvania named Jody. His wife, Jenny, tagged along with us. And this outfitter that I guided for was Maine Moose out of Pitlock, Maine.
Okay.
So he called me. This was, like the night of the draw. He called me and said that he could get me a September moose hunt where I want to guide. I said, absolutely. So come to find out, this Jody from Pennsylvania was my hunter. I believe he was 64 years old. And he had a very, very bad leg injury on a Canadian bear hunt like 30 years prior when he was in his 30s. He had a head-on collision. He was on a wheeler and hit a oncoming truck.
Oh my
and
God!
broke his leg in 6 or 8 places, I think he told me.
Wow.
So, and it still bothers him to this day. He could walk and not much of a limp, but just longevity-wise, he would get tired a lot sooner than he probably should have and sore. And so I learned this on my first phone call, just introduced myself as his guide and excited to hunt with him, blah, blah, blah. This was probably all around bear season, probably when I had you guys, when I started talking to him. So he didn't have a sub-permittee like I talked about. You have a permit holder and a sub-permittee. So the outfitter that hired me, the idea was that he would have his bow and I would be his sub-permittee just so I could legally have a rifle with us. And if he wanted to switch, if I happened to call the state record bull out or one got hung up that he wanted to harvest with a rifle, not fool around the bow, that was going to be the plan.
Right.
Well, he showed up and he said that he was going to go home with a bull with an arrow or nothing at all, because he was not putting a bullet in one. So right from the get-go, I could tell his goal was bow or nothing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I got to back up. He was this Jody. He's no just weekend warrior bow hunter. This was his 5th moose hunt, and he had already killed 4 prior, all with his bow.
Really?
He had killed an Eastern Canadian back in 1980, the very first year we had a moose hunt in Maine. He drew and killed one with his bow. He then his goal, like I said, this guy is a travel the world bow hunter. He was not just your typical hunt 8 or 10 times a fall type of guy.
Right.
He was no joke. So
Wow.
he shot one in 1980 in Maine, and then he got sick of waiting. I believe he told me like late 1980s. He traveled to Alaska and killed an Alaskan Yukon that was like 55 inches with his bow.
Wow. No kidding.
He got that shoulder mounted.
Yep.
And then he got, how'd that work? He went like 5 or 6 more years and went to Colorado and killed a Shiras.
Nice.
That was his 3 subspecies right there: Eastern Canadian, Alaskan Yukon, and Shiras. But his Eastern Canadian was only like a 30-inch bull, his 1980 bull in Maine.
Mm-hmm.
So he kept waiting. He waited like 15 years after his Colorado hunt, and he said to hell with it. He wanted to come back to Maine, and he was never getting drawn. He said to hell with it. He went to Alberta fall of 24, and he killed another Eastern Canadian that was like 40 inches.
No
And he
kidding.
told himself, no, that's not big enough shoulder mount. And then sure enough, he lucked out, and he got drawn the very next year for this 25 fall in Maine. And we got him that, what was it? I don't remember now. 48, I think, 48-inch bull. It was like 17 points,
Oh my God.
48 inches wide, and I think killing it at 4 yards was the icing on the cake to finish his basically moose grand slam.
That is so. The video of that is so cool.
Yeah,
I love that.
I guess I can tell a little bit more about the hunt. I was just trying to paint a picture of what Jody was like. Him and his wife were absolutely fantastic. He was not a professional bow hunter. It's not what he did for work, but he was as professional as they come.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Now, I was not worried about him hitting his mark or anything like that, and they were great. But actual hunt-wise, it was Monday. They were traveling from Pennsylvania, and I don't remember their actual flight plan, but the way it worked, they got in like late Sunday, and we were up early Monday. So by Monday, like at noontime, he was already tired.
Yeah.
I walked him fairly hard Monday morning. Had a couple bulls going in our very first set where I had pictures of some bulls on my cell cameras earlier the night before, and I was in there at 2 a.m. just listening. I could hear bulls grunting and cows bellowing, so I went back to camp, picked them up, took them back in, walked him pretty hard. So by noontime, he was gassed, and he actually fell asleep in the truck. I still tease him about it. We still text and have a dialogue going.
Nice.
So he passes right out in my truck. We're just going to the next spot, and I rock him right to sleep like a baby. he wakes up, and he's all geared up and ready to go. And I said, geez, Jody, I said, it's Monday at noontime, and you're already exhausted. I said, take a nap. And it was, too. It was like 75 degrees, fairly windy.
Mm-hmm.
So it was warm. We had only seen one cow that morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, take a nap, and you and Jenny can just take a nap in the truck. I'll only be a couple hours. My plan was to check a few cameras, just kill some time. I wasn't really ready for a nap yet. So anyways, long story short, I talked him into a nap, and Monday, I was probably a mile from the truck, just tiptoeing around. I wasn't calling. I wasn't really moose hunting. I was just kind of scouting, seeing what sign was showing me, checking cameras, and I walked in on about a 55-inch bull bedded down with a cow.
Wow.
I was probably 60 yards from him when she stood up out of her bed. Didn't have a clue that I was there. She just coincidence. She stood up as I was So I froze, and sure enough, I get to looking, and he's bedded probably 20 yards from her.
Wow.
Here I am a mile from the truck with no cell service, and my hunter's a mile away taking a nap. So that's how Monday went. Tuesday was slow, it was warm. It was Tuesday morning. I actually hit a deer on the way to camp to pick him up. Totaled my truck.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I Tuesday morning I was running a little late. Was driving too fast. And I totaled my truck on about 175-pound 6-pointer.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
So I called this outfitter that had hired me. And I told him bad news. I said, I'm not going to be able to make him or take him out this morning. Luckily, he's obviously a guide himself.
Yeah.
So he said, that's no big deal. Take care of you and your truck. I'll take him out and figure it out when you get back. So I had the truck towed and my father's truck, and I was back out, found them by like 11 o'clock. We went back at it again Tuesday, no moose. Wednesday was fairly slow, saw a couple cows, a couple smaller bulls. And then Thursday morning, I had a cell camera that I had in there a month prior. I was getting a picture of this absolute giant bull that maybe I can send you guys a picture and you can add it to the podcast or maybe the title cover to the podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
But he was a great big bull that I was getting pictures of.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would say twice a week. If I got a picture of him on a Monday afternoon, I didn't see him again till like Thursday afternoon. So it just happened to be, it was like, I don't know, Thursday, the week before they showed up, I got a picture of him. And I planned on going back in there. He had gone cold. I couldn't find him. So Thursday, I kind of just on a hunch. It was by far our best morning. Thursday was cool and crisp and dead calm. And I knew if we could get in one's wheelhouse, basically, that I'd be able to call one in.
Mm-hmm.
And we parked the truck 45 minutes before daylight, start tiptoeing in, because I love listening before even thinking about hunting.
Sure.
I'll tiptoe, whether it be half mile from the truck or just 200 yards from the truck. And I like listening for the first half an hour before daylight. Sure enough, we can hear two bulls grunting their heads off. Well, they were probably quarter to a half mile away from us, not very far at all.
Oh, not bad. Yeah.
And so I'm all excited, thinking one of them's got to be him, is what I'm telling myself.
Yeah.
This is half an hour before daylight, I said. About 10 minutes after they're grunting their heads off, this cow starts going nuts. So I knew I had some competition.
Yep.
Well, anyways, it got to be daylight, and they had actually got a look. We had moved in a little closer to them, and I believe that they were actually coming closer to us. Just coincidence. I hadn't called or anything yet. So I told Jody right from the get-go, I said he had a bow sling on and just make it easier for him to carry with his bad leg.
Right.
And I told him, I said, I'd be much more comfortable if you took that sling off and knocked an arrow. I said, because I might have one come charging in a matter of minutes. I want you ready. So I carried his bow with an arrow knocked, all ready to go, and I didn't call. It was my first sequence, and I instantly got an answer. We hadn't heard them for 10 or 15 minutes, but I knew they were there. So I called my first sequence, and one instantly answered me. And
now, when they answer, they're grunting to you, right? They're making that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's real nasally guttural sound.
And you're doing cow calls, AJ?
Yeah. Yes. At first I did. Very first sequence, and he instantly answered me. And he was close enough we could hear him walking through this chopping that we were in.
Wow.
And I would say he was excited, but he wasn't crashing right in like just begging for a girlfriend.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he kind of seemed like he was getting hung up because there was that second bull that was with him. Now I was starting to think that there was two bulls and maybe a couple cows, and they were cowed up. But anyways, I told Jody, we left Jenny in the road, and we only walked. We probably cut the distance in half. I figured they were within 300 yards at this point. I told Jody, I said, we're going to go right at him, and I'm going to challenge him. I hadn't grunted yet.
Okay.
So we if you like you guys said in the video, we left Jenny back in the road, and luckily she videotaped the whole thing going down. But as soon as I grunted, the script flipped, and he was you see in the video how he was all bristled up, and he was ready to come in and kick my ass.
Yeah, he must have had his eyes rolled back and everything. His head was dipping back and forth.
Bad. But I held that scapula up to my head, and I've done that. I had guys from work tell me, "Geez, you're crazy," and the outfitter that hired me said that was absolutely incredible. I've seen my grandfather do that half dozen times, and I've done it 2 or 3 times during deer season.
Yeah.
Get a young bull that's curious and don't know any better, and you can definitely get them going where they get so love struck they don't know if you're a human or a moose. So
AJ, real quick, describe what I think I know what you're talking about. The scapula bone.
Yeah, shoulder blade.
Yeah, the shoulder blade, and you're holding it just so people can visualize if they haven't seen the video or how you do it.
Yeah, it basically 90% of its use is for raking the trees because it emulates an antler so well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fairly lightweight. I have a piece of rawhide with a hole drilled through mine, so I can hook it to my pack, or I can loop it around my wrist, and it's easy to. But
now, is it a shoulder blade off a moose, or is it a deer blade?
Yeah, yes, it's a moose shoulder blade. So it's the size of a small bacon sheet.
Yeah, I was wondering what you were holding up in the air there.
Yeah. So it sounds every bit as an antler. Excuse me, every bit as much as an antler.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't say it necessarily looks exactly like an antler, but to them, they don't know any difference. They get so love struck, and they see that ivory horn, and you can see me. I was holding it above my head and swaying back and forth just like he was, matching everything he did. I've seen guys do it with canoe paddles.
Yeah.
So once he got out in the road, again, and this was before, I think she started the video at, I had him at 50 yards probably.
Yeah, coming right at you.
When he stepped out in the road, there was kind of a bend in the road, so she couldn't see him. She didn't start videotaping until he made this bend, but me and Jody could see him. He stepped out in the road and looked at us. He didn't have a clue that we were hunters, but he was uneasy, didn't know if that was the bull that he had heard, and so that's when I instantly put that scapula to my head. I mean, he stepped out in the road, and I instantly put that scapula up to my head, like, here I am. And we had probably, it seemed like a minute. It was probably 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Stared at him, and I wasn't walking at him. I just kind of swayed it above my head, like you've seen guys do on YouTube and everything like that.
Yeah.
Just to give him something visual to see.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I did that, he was dead before he knew it. I started slowly wobbling that scapula above my head like I was rocking back and forth and tiptoeing into him, and he instantly said, "Yeah, game on," and he was coming to ruin our day, and we ruined his, but it was some fun. And for the listeners, like you guys said, everyone asked me how close he was. We were in that old logging road where we were standing on one side and he was on the other, and I never actually did pace it off, but thinking back, this was, as we're loading him on the truck, thinking back, I would guess he was probably 4 or 5 yards. He was 5 tops.
Wow.
Yeah, looking at the video, he wasn't any more than that.
I would say, looking at the video, I'm 6 feet tall, and he was no more than 2 of me laying down.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was such a cool video. I'm so glad you guys caught that. Anybody who wants to see it, I'd say go to your Facebook account, right? You posted it on Facebook.
Yeah, it's on my Facebook account. It's been, I don't know what other platforms it got shared on, but it's on my Harris Hunting Adventures Facebook account.
Yeah, and I may try and put a link onto the show notes on that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea.
That'd be easy to do, yeah.
So how does a guy get a big enough kahunas to stand there with a pissed off moose coming at him in the wide open?
Yeah.
And the hunter's like, he had some guts too to stand there. And I mean, I'm like, I couldn't believe it when it's walking up. I'm like,
I said that he was as good as anyone I've ever met and as professional as they come. I didn't say that, but I got to give him credit too, because like I said, he had already killed 4 moose with his bow, so I would say he's a seasoned veteran. There might be, I don't even dare guess, but there isn't probably 10 guys in the United States that have killed 4 moose with their bow, and he's one of them.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Yeah.
But he was as calm and cool and collected as he could have been, and I can't say enough good about him. Like, I asked him after we were all excited, and I hugged him so bad I might have picked him off the ground. I asked him out of the 5 he had harvested if that was the closest one he had, and he said yes, like it was just another moose hunt.
No kidding.
Wow.
No, he was definitely had ice in his veins, I guess I should say.
Yeah, sounds it.
Yeah, I'd have been jumping up and down crazy afterwards.
Like you said, Bill, I had a handgun in my pack just in case we were tracking one. Just like same deal with bear.
Yeah.
But it was in my pack. I didn't have it drawn. I wasn't ready. I've had 20 people ask me, "Geez, you're crazy. What would you have done if he would have charged?" And I guess it's just opinion. But as foolish as he was to come into those 4 yards and not know any better, I'm also a very firm believer in he would have smelt us or known the gig was up far before he would actually think about putting his head down and charging us.
Right.
That's just my belief, and some people might think I'm crazy, but same deal I told you guys with bear season. Google Maine moose attack and see how many results come up. I just think it's one of them deals where, and I'm not bragging by any means, it's just the way that I was brought up and the way I look at things. I was not worried in the least that he was going to run us over.
Wow.
There wasn't one part of me thinking, "Geez, he's getting way too close, and we got to either kill him or get out of here." I was actually thinking, he's getting too close. He's getting ready to bolt.
Yeah, like he's going to wind you or something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I thought even if I could have called him in to say 2 yards, and I could basically reach out and touch him, I think he's going to smell you before he actually says, "Yeah, that is 100% another bull, and I have to fight him."
So what do you think was in his mind? Because he paralleled you, like normally would a moose like go by and then circle around behind you, or where was he going?
No, they no, they're every bit as just like turkeys, or you see bow hunters hunting with decoys. You can look up those strategies, stuff like that. They never come like head to head.
No, they always circle the edge around.
They always skirt each other, and the only reason they're doing that is because they're sizing their opponent up, basically.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
He didn't want to come right straight in, and we actually would have been. I have no doubt that Jody would have killed him, even if he would have had to shoot him at 5 yards right in the chest. And again, I give Jody credit. I had that bull at probably, we killed him at, I'd say 4. When he was at about 10, every time that left forward shoulder, or that I should say his only left shoulder, his forward shoulder, every time he'd rock that left shoulder back when he was taking a step with his right, I would whisper to Jody, "Right there. Right there." Every step. I was trying to get Jody to shoot him right basically in the brisket,
a frontal
and
shot,
drive that arrow right up into his lungs and heart. And I kept saying, "Jody, right there, right there," and he would not pull that trigger, and he waited till he hit. So he was far more patient than I ever would have been.
No kidding.
Unbelievable.
And I had people ask me, "Geez, I didn't even know you could shoot a moose with a bow, and that arrow whistled through that 800-pound bull moose like he was a water bottle.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was a clean pass through, right?
Oh, it didn't even look like it hit anything, Bill.
Yeah.
That arrow whistled through him like it never even touched anything.
Mhm.
He wanted it as a memorabilia, basically.
Yeah.
I had to go find it. Was 40 yards in the woods on the other side of the road.
Oh, you found it?
It took me 20 minutes to find it.
Well, I'm impressed you found it.
Yeah.
Wow.
But-
Hey, did just curious, do you know what he was shooting for a broadhead?
Oh, geez, you had to ask me. We talked about that 10 times that week. It was one that I had never heard of, and it was one that he actually. Oh, I love bow hunting, but you and Tim are probably more knowledgeable than I am.
Well, I just didn't know if was it a fixed blade, or I'm assuming a
Expandable
fixed.
or- It was a fixed blade.
Yeah.
Geez, I say it was, Tim. I almost want to say it was a hybrid now. Anyways, he had to call Maine Inland Fisheries and Wildlife to make sure it was legal.
Oh,
because the blades were actually bent, almost like what you'd say was like barbed.
That was right. So it was, it must have been somewhat of a barbed broadhead.
And in some states that's illegal, but in the state of Maine, the absolute only I guess you'd call it parameter you got to meet is it has to be 1 1/8 inches, I believe.
Okay.
Is the minimum.
Yep.
But so all I can tell you is the blades were basically swan. What the heck was the name of that broadhead?
Oh, that's all right. I was just curious. I didn't know if you knew or not, but so let's another thing to talk about here. So I assumed it was like you had a guy with you videoing. I didn't know it was his
wife.
It was just the three of us, me, Jody, and his wife.
So I could hear you in the video. I thought you were saying Jim, but you were saying
yeah.
You were saying stay right there, Jim.
Yeah,
stay right there.
Yep.
And the moose went right past her. How far away was it when it went by her videoing?
I would say she obviously was in the same road that we were, and I called him down the road to us. So as Jody shot him, rather than wheeling and running the way he came, he ran down the road that we had come towards Jenny, and she was off the road, I'd say 2 or 3 yards.
Yeah.
So we shot him at 4 yards, and he went running past her like a racehorse, running for his life at probably 7.
Yeah, it was.
And and obviously you guys have watched the video. You can see in the video that the blood's pumping out of him. And
oh my God.
Yeah, it's impressive. Honestly,
she got him falling in the road and every bit of it. It was awesome.
Oh, she did a great job videoing.
I mean, honestly, you couldn't ask for a better video. Like you said, instead of turning and bolting, going in the woods or the way it came, it ran right towards the person videoing.
And then she got to watch it. You could see there was a big, he must have bled out, and there was a big, puff, if you will. It must have been like, and you could see it from where, I don't know how far it was from Jenny when it fell, but you could see a pile, and it was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that was.
And I don't want to say favorite part, because my favorite part is watching him at 4 yards and me and Jody holding our ground, and Jody being as good as he was and whistling that air from him. That's absolutely my favorite part. But I would say my second favorite is after Jody shoots him and he's running past Jenny, you can hear me in the background. I bellow at him like a cow.
Oh, I heard that. Yeah.
I didn't want him to leave the road, basically, because I knew as soon as that arrow hit him, I knew he was dead meat, but I didn't want him getting off the road because I didn't want to have to drag him out.
Yeah.
You were trying to get him to pause and stay on the road,
in the
right?
video, you can hear me, basically. I'm whining and trying to sound as sexy as I can, trying to get him to change his mind. You're all right, just stop.
Yep.
And sure enough, he stops and swings his head around like, geez, maybe I am all right.
Yeah.
And then when he takes off that second time, his legs are wobbling, and you can tell he's hurt bad.
So could you drive right up to him?
Yeah. So back to my you see him fall in the video, obviously.
Yeah.
I I backed the truck right up to him. I dressed him off, obviously. Went and got the truck. I had to cut one tree out of the road. Took me about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I backed the truck up to him, dropped the tailgate, pulled him up with a winch in about 35 seconds.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah. Because I at this point, just the way that camp works, the outfitter I work for, he would stay at camp because he had 4 or 5 parties out.
Yeah.
He would stay at camp, and whoever called, yeah, I need help dragging, I need help quartering. He basically had a on-call team at the lodge.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Well, once we got our bull, I sent a text out that I needed help. And by the time I had him dressed off and ready to go, another guide for the outfit had shown up. And he helped me roll him on his belly, and we got all the good pictures that we needed to. And then basically backed the truck up to him, and I lifted his hips just enough that I could get the winch cable around him, and we winched him up in the truck. Like I said, in 30 seconds, he was loaded, and we were headed out.
No kidding.
Unbelievable.
So that was my first bow hunting client, and you could argue that it was the easiest one I've ever got out of the woods.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. It sounds like it. But and you know what? In my mind, I keep going back to he's on his last legs. This is the moose. He's dying, and he hears a sexy cow call. And he's like, there's a chance I'm okay and I can go back to that cow. The female stopped him and he died.
but that, I think that part's so cool because at that part, he turns around and gets perfectly broadside to look back at us.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, Jenny's videotaping him from, I don't know, 20 yards.
Yeah.
And you can get the blood's pumping out of him, and he's kind of huffing and puffing. And
yeah,
she got absolute awesome footage of us killing him at 4 yards. But arguably the best footage is when he's standing there at 20 yards perfectly broadside and she's filming him.
Yeah. No, that was so cool.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Hey, what did he weigh?
He was 770, I believe.
Oh, dressed out.
I get the two mixed up, but he was the smaller of the two. He was 770, yes, dressed. So that you're talking, low 900s live weight, around 900.
Smaller of the two, so you got another one?
Yeah, so that was the September hunt.
Okay, cool.
And then you have 2 weeks off before you have the October bull hunt. And by this time, it's absolutely all. I say it's weather dependent. Some guys would say otherwise, but I was kind of worried weather-wise because that September hunt weather-wise was good enough that I really thought that they were going. I had other guides tell me that they had called all week, never got an answer, and every bull they saw was by himself, and every cow they saw was by themselves.
Okay.
They didn't even think the rut was started, and I had seen the complete opposite in 11, the zone we killed him in.
Yeah.
Like I said, that Monday bull that I saw when Jody was napping was bedded down with a cow.
Yeah, he was right with her.
He wasn't leaving her. Monday morning, before I saw that bull, I had a bull and a cow that we were going in after that were together. Monday night, I had a bull and a cow that were grunting and bellowing together. So I thought it was absolute full swing. That was Monday, opening day of the bull hunt.
Okay.
So then we hunt for a week, have 2 weeks off, and then the October hunt comes along. And at this point, I had already gone back to the mill for a couple weeks. I was basically scouting with just my cameras. I went out a few days, but nowhere near the amount I wanted to.
Uh-huh.
And from what I was seeing on my cameras in the 2 or 3 mornings I did go out, I said, geez, they're all done. I said, it's going to be we're just going to have to catch one feeding or find the right, because all it is you got to find the right bull. It's not either all of them are done or all of them start on the.
Yeah.
You guys know this,
yes,
but
exactly.
some listeners that have never even thought of moose hunting, it's every bull is different. You might have a young bull that had been in fights and got the shit kicked out of him for 3 weeks and hadn't even bred a cow yet because maybe there were 2 or 3 big bully bulls in the area not letting him breed.
Yeah.
So I was thinking I was going to have to find a bull like that or just catch one feeding because I really didn't think I was going to call one in.
Now, were you guiding for somebody else, or were you hunting yourself?
No, this was for myself.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
They contacted me. Oh, I booked them probably 2 months for it. So that was probably the same deal. Shortly after the draw, they called me, and this was a local guy from Lincoln.
Okay.
On the baits you guys hunted.
Yep.
He was from Lincoln, so he was only 15 miles from me, and he also had Zone 11.
That was not where we were hunting, right? We didn't hunt Zone 11, did we?
No, you guys, those Lincoln baits you hunted would have been 10 and 18.
Okay. Gotcha.
So 11 is north of that, Bill.
All right. Gotcha.
So where was I? So he was a local guy. He took care of his own lodge and everything like that, which we didn't have to worry about because I wanted to meet him before the hunt, whether it be dinner at a local restaurant or just go to his house, introduce myself, but we never got the chance to do that.
Yeah.
Which was no big deal. We talked on the phone. Dialogue was good. So I never met him until that Monday morning when I picked him up. We parked his truck, and it was him and his grandson. And so, again, just the three of us. And I kind of got to back up. This guy's name was Laddie, and he was partially deaf.
What was his name? What was his name?
Laddie.
Laddie, okay.
Yeah. He was, and I did most of the talking with his wife, who is the one that contacted me.
Okay.
And just by talking to her, I thought that she said he'll be able to understand you, but he's going to have to be looking right at you. So I was thinking it was going to be not tough, but definitely something to work around.
Yeah, be a challenge, right? Yeah.
Yeah, challenge.
Yeah.
So that Monday morning, it's obviously pitch black. When I pick him up, I'm talking. We're going back and forth. He can hear me a lot better than I was expecting.
Oh, okay.
So right from the get-go, I said, yeah, challenge basically over because I said that we'll be able to communicate fine.
Yeah.
Long story short, we see a cow not 10 minutes in the daylight. I'm just begging for a bull to be with her. We watched her for about an hour, no bull. We walked probably, 3 or 4 miles. We didn't go super hard, but all the same area. We were actually in the same area where Jody killed his bull.
Okay.
So we went back right in there with no luck. Monday about noontime, I made the decision. I said, I wanted to go further north, just what my gut was telling me.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, I can either go further north and we're going to get to the truck even later than I expected. And I'm going to get these guys home even later than expected. And I kind of hummed and hawed just to myself. And I'm glad I did. I'd say 20 minutes. I finally said, you know what? Screw it. I said, I'm going, because I'm right at the intersection of zones 11 and 18.
Okay.
And he's in Lincoln, so he was a little bit into 18.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you know what? I said, it's the very first day. These guys are already tired. It's been slow. I said, we're headed home, and I'm going to head on the home end of 11.
Okay.
So we came back home. It wasn't a long ways, but we got 15 miles closer home. And actually, it's my absolute favorite spot to hunt 11. I'm not gonna tell you on the live podcast where it is. Obviously.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Understand that.
Yeah, we'll go there with you sometime.
That deal. This spot is my bread and butter when it comes to 11, and I never went there in the September hunt with Jody because I've hunted in there 4 or 5 seasons in a row, and I've never ever seen another hunter. And before the September hunt, I had seen a dozen trail cameras, 2 or 3 other hunting parties on like Saturdays saying that they were scouting for moose. So I instantly was saying, yeah, I'm not going to deal with that much competition. I'm going to go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we did. So anyways, October hunt, I said, I'm going to go in there and just hope that there's no competition and we're the only ones in there. So we're headed into this spot, and sure enough, that bull we killed on Monday after we killed him at 2:30, I believe it was. We spotted him at, I'd say it was probably 1:45.
Okay.
And he saw us before we could get a bullet into him. And he took off running like a racehorse. I thought it was instantly game over.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Laddie, he'd killed a moose before, but this was his first bull hunt. I should have said that earlier.
Oh, okay.
So
he's killed a cow.
He had been on a cow hunt prior. So once he saw this bull in the road, there was nothing he could do. I'm not saying that he should have killed him. We saw this bull and he was gone in a matter of a second and a half, 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we saw him long enough that we knew that he was a very, very big bull. So he was probably 150 yards up this chop-in when we first saw him and he took off. So we rush up there. I it's not like, it is, but it's not like I thought I was going to be able to stop him and get a bullet in him. He was gone, and it was thick enough that I knew we had to get up there. So we basically trot up. It took us 2 or 3 minutes to get where he was standing, and we stopped and listened. No moose. I instantly thought, yeah, he's a half mile away at this point.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, and he took off fast enough and hard enough. I bare ground tracked him easily for probably 200 yards, I'd say, maybe 150. And then I would assume he slowed up, and I would get a track here and a track there, but it was nowhere near as good as when I first started. Well, anyways, I was just about ready to call it quits just because I really thought deep down that we had boogered him so bad that he just ran and he was long gone.
Sure.
But and I got to back up. I had called at this point.
Oh, okay.
With no answer.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't answer me, so that was another telltale sign that I thought he's long gone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyways, I was seriously about a minute away from saying let's go find a new one, and it was kind of breezy. And I talked about Laddie's hearing, being partially deaf. His grandson Landon was, I believe he was 16, 17 maybe. I thought I heard a grunt. And when I thought I heard that grunt, I instantly whipped my head and looked at Landon, and I didn't even have to ask him. He said, I heard it.
Nice.
So I knew game on. And
Wow.
Sure enough, I called the bull. It was the same bull. I called him back in to right where he was standing, and we killed him with, they both had rifles. And I called him into 20 yards,
Wow.
and they dropped him dead in his tracks.
Oh,
And
Jesus.
shame on me. I had my cell phone in my pocket,
Oh.
and I'm not. Obviously, that film we got in September was awesome, and it was great for my business and advertising stuff like that. But I'm not the type of guy that really cares about
right. Filming
getting
every
it on
hunt.
film.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it never even crossed my mind. And like I said, when we first heard him grunt, he was a long ways off, and he came in quick. But I worked him for, geez, I had 10 minutes, I bet, to think, geez, you ought to pull your phone and get this on video. And I was just in game mode.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And basically wanted to get him on the ground more than I wanted to get it on film, I guess, because that honestly never crossed my mind. And called him into 20 yards. And I seriously believe it would have been every bit as good, if not better, a moose film than we got in September.
No kidding. Wow.
Unbelievable.
We killed him it was a fairly open chopping, but it was like select cut
Okay.
and strip cut, so there was still plenty of timber. We killed him in the timber, but just the way that he came in and was showing off and swaying back and forth like they do, and
Mm-hmm.
he grunted, geez, 3 times as much as that bull in September.
Now, were you cow calling to him?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'd say like I said, it was a select cut, so it was open, but it wasn't clear cut by any means.
Sure.
I'd say we first laid eyes on him. He was 100 yards. You could see that just this big black block tiptoeing through little bits and pieces of the trees.
Mm-hmm.
And he stepped out in the same. And again, I can't say enough good about these two guys, but I also had just met them 8 hours prior.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
and I'm not knocking them by any means, but I didn't know if they'd be able to hit my super duty at 100 yards.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had just met him. I didn't know.
Right.
So we finally, he steps out in the same twitch as us. And when I say twitch, you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
For the listeners, this is where basically they go in and log, and they get the grapple skidder, and they bring a twitch of wood out. And some are windy, some are straight as an arrow. So he came and stepped in the same twitch as us at, I'd say, about 80 yards.
Wow.
And Landon, the grandson, is right on my left shoulder, and Laddie's right on my right shoulder, because I had to make sure Laddie could understand.
Yeah.
And before we got the bull before we could see him, me and Laddie had agreed that I was going to tap him on the belly when I wanted him to fire.
Okay.
Because I knew I wasn't going to be able to talk when the moose was there.
Mm-hmm.
So I had my hand right on his belly, and I told him, once I tap you on the belly, you let him have it. So he was as calm as he could be. This bull steps out at 80 yards, and grandson Landon is just about breaking his finger. He's trying to pull that trigger, and I'm telling. He's asking me now. I said, no, wait, and he's looking at me like I got three heads. What do you mean, wait?
Yeah.
I said, he does not have a clue that we are here. I can get him closer. Wait, because I knew he was a great big bull. I knew that he should be dead, but I was also thinking about these guys shooting. I had just met them.
Sure. Get him close.
And if he was acting nervous, I would have said, let him have it, fellas. We would have took our chances.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
just the way he was acting, I could tell he seriously thought that there was a cow in heat, and he wasn't even thinking human.
Yeah, he had no idea you were there.
So he's at 80 yards, and I said, no, Landon, I can get him closer. And I get him to 60, and he stops. And Landon says, now? I said, no. I said, I can get him closer. Wait. So he's standing there looking at us at 60 yards, and I whine to him just as low as I can, and he gets to about 40 yards. And Landon says, now? I said, no, wait.
Damn.
And I'm serious. At this point, he's quivering. He's so excited and wants to shoot this bull. And I'm sure Laddie was too.
Yeah.
Because I was at this point, I'm almost back to Laddie with my hand on his belly.
Yeah.
And I'm begging Landon to wait. And I said, no, wait, I can get him closer. So about 20, he gets to 20 yards, and right dead on looking at us, right in the. So I tell Landon, I said, let your grandfather shoot first. As soon as he fires, you put one right in his chest. So he was good to go. I made sure we were all calm on the same page. Sure enough, I kind of glared at Laddie as slow as I could, so this bull couldn't see me, and we made eye contact, like, get ready, and I gave him that pat on the belly, and he let him have it, and Landon wasn't a half a second behind him.
Yeah.
He fired, and that bull folded right there, right in the twitch.
Oh, my
Awesome.
God.
That's so. What a hunt.
But if I don't want to make it sound like a clown show, but if we would have had a cameraman on that hunt, that would have been every bit as amazing or comical as it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Because you would have seen me begging Landon not to fire his rifle.
Yeah. Right.
Because he was looking at me like I was crazy.
Oh, my God.
like this. And that bull was, geez, I don't remember what he was. He was around 800. He's looking at me
wow.
like,
Oh,
how
my
much closer
God.
do you want this 1,000-pound animal to come at us?
Right.
And I was begging him, no, Landon, do not fire yet. Wait.
See,
and he was awesome. He listened to me, and he waited. And
yeah.
like I said, 20 yards, he stopped posturing and grunting, and I say he stopped. By the time he stopped and we put a bullet in him, it was only 15 seconds. But you could just tell when he stopped and was looking at us, he was thinking, geez,
Something's not right.
Something's not right.
Yeah. I've had that turkey hunting, the same thing. Like, you bring them in as close as you can, then they start to, something doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
You know, and like they're ready to, you can tell they're thinking about it. And, you know, that's where your experience comes in, where you can say, wait. weight, and you know that okay, they're still hooked. I still got
Yeah,
them.
for sure. I could tell just by his mannerisms and the amount he was grunting, and he was thinking love and not retreat, basically.
Yeah.
He had no idea.
Did you have that scapula bone working with that one, or were you just on the
No.
ground calling or standing calling?
I didn't in that case because it was kind of win-win. I wish we could have killed. Oh, I say that. If he would have got away, I obviously would have wanted to get a bullet in him that first time. But
Mm-hmm.
when he took off, the scapula was on my pack.
Gotcha.
Because he surprised us. I wasn't calling
Mm-hmm.
or anything like that. We were just traveling when we saw him.
Right. Okay.
And so it was on my pack, and I didn't have time to grab it. He took off running, and we didn't run after him. I had to get Laddie on the same page. I said he might stop, but we got to get up there quick. So we quickly walked. Like I said, he was 150 yards probably. So when we walked up there, I had it right on my pack, and I left it there because in this twitch I keep talking about, I knew it was thick enough that I wasn't going to need a visual to add to the mix to coax one in. I knew if we saw one, I was going to have to get him within 100 before we even saw him because it was at least that thick.
Sure. Yeah, you didn't have
I-
open ground, like you had cover, so he's coming in looking.
Yeah.
He's looking.
Yeah, basically we stood shoulder to shoulder, and he could see us. He definitely knew that. Like I said, every time he stopped, he was trying to decide what's she gonna do next. Is she gonna come to me, or is she gonna run? And I would just softly, just 2 or 3 seconds, whine at him like, "Come on, I'm waiting for you."
Mm-hmm.
And he would instantly, ears laid back, and he'd start tiptoeing in.
Wow. Damn, that's
and,
cool.
and he'd go 20 yards. He was. I don't want to make it seem like he was coming in to just me calling blind, and he didn't know where we were. He was locked in on us three standing shoulder to shoulder, and he thought that we were his cow.
Mm-hmm.
So once he got to 20 yards, it was a stare down the entire time. He never took his eyes off us, all the way from 80 yards to 20.
But you could sense that change in behavior when he got to 20, and he knew something was up.
I told guys at work that asked me, every time I'd call to him, Bill, his eyes would roll back in his head, and ears would go back. He was so love struck it wasn't even funny.
Yeah.
And then finally, when he got to that 20 yards, I don't want to say posture like fight or showing off for a cow like they would.
Uh-huh.
He postured up like almost like a racehorse.
Mm-hmm.
He really stood upright, and it was holding his head high, like he was trying to either wind us, or his mood changed almost instantly when he got to them 20 yards. And that's when I basically had enough. And I told myself, if they can't kill him at 20 yards, and that's all I was doing. I didn't necessarily want him at 20 yards. I just wanted to get him as absolutely close as I could because the only reason being I had just met these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we did a little small talk, and we talked about Laddie's cow hunt before, and I had a sense that he was a hunter. But I wanted to make sure that I did everything I possibly could to get him as close as possible. So basically, make it as easy as possible.
Yeah.
Oh, certainly.
That's the only reason I made him hold back.
Yeah. Well, you ensured the success too.
Right.
Yeah. So that's all I was trying to do. But after we had killed, I have no doubt that they would have killed him at the 80 yards.
Mm-hmm.
But just at that point, I said, "Geez, that is a really big bull, and I don't know how these guys." This is going through my head as soon as he steps out. I said, "That is a really, really good bull, and I really want to get him killed.
Yep.
I just don't know how well these guys shoot, so I'm going to get him as close as he lets me." And he just happened to let me get him to 60 feet.
That is unbelievable.
I know. That's pretty cool. Their hearts must have been beating out of their chests watching them come in and come in. Come in.
I saw the pictures. I was on your Facebook page, and I saw the pictures. So now I understand there was a younger guy and then the grandfather.
Yeah.
And I didn't know like what your role was in that hunt. I didn't realize you were guiding them, but I saw you in a picture with them. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
And I didn't talk much about that bull. That bull was 50. I think he was 50 right on the nose, 50 inches wide. But he had everything that you would want in a big Maine bull. He had great big wide paddles on each side. I don't remember what they measured, but they were big. He had 2 or 3 eye guards on one side and 4 on the other, I believe.
Wow.
Nice big shovels. He had plenty of points. I think 20, 24, 25 points. I don't remember. Just a great big bull.
Yeah, that was a beautiful bull.
Yeah. He was everything that they had dreamed of, and we just lucked out and got him first thing Monday afternoon.
That's fantastic.
And that was kind of a good part, too, I didn't talk about. We saw him at 1:45. I called him back in when it was probably 2:30 when they killed him. We had him loaded and on the truck by 6:30, and we made it to the tagging station by closing time.
Very nice.
So
that's pretty quick.
That was a little more work than the September bull, but
still,
we made it. We made it to the store by closing time and dropped him off at the butcher that night.
Did you use the same butcher that we used?
Did you? I don't remember. Did you take your bear to Bruce, Bill?
Yeah, he was a preacher, wasn't he?
Yes, Bruce Swan. No, we used a different guy.
Yeah.
Bruce was full.
Yeah.
That week.
Yeah, he was a great guy. I enjoyed meeting him.
Yeah. No, I take all my local bear to him that I can. Then when we hunt up in our far north lot, and then we have a lot over in Medway, Grindstone area, where there's another butcher that treats me really good that we use. So
nice.
But he's certainly a good guy, and I plan to use him for many more years to come.
Now, were you the 2 fellas, Lanny here, that you took out and the grandson? Were they hire you directly as an outfitter, or were you subbing for another outfitter?
No, that was my own hunt. They contacted me, and it was actually his wife Cheryl that called me.
Yeah.
She called me and said that she was she had a friend, because they just moved to Maine. I don't remember what they told me, just a few years ago.
Okay.
So they didn't know many guides or anything like that. Laddie got drawn, obviously, and he asked a family friend or something like that. Geez, I really, really want to make sure I get a bull and a nice one. Do you know a guide for Zone 11? And I don't remember who it was. I'm happy they referred me, but they told Laddie about me, and his wife contacted me.
Very nice.
That's good.
That's how we got all hooked up.
Now you got a new friend over in Lincoln.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
But
did you get another moose after that?
No, that was
moose season.
That was moose season for me. We have 2 bull hunts, one September, one October, and then they have the cow hunts up in the northern zones. And they have. I'm trying to think of the dates. I can't remember the exact dates, but we have an adaptive hunt that goes all the way into November.
Okay.
That's the zone in the western part of the state where they're trying to do the tick study on winter ticks. They're taking this zone 4 and trying to harvest. I don't want to say as many moose as they can, but they're giving out a lot of tags because their theory is the more moose there are to prey on, the more winter ticks we're going to have.
Gotcha.
So basically, the more hosts, the more ticks.
Yeah,
true.
So they're basically trialing out this zone 4 and trying to kill basically as many moose as they can without decimating the herd.
Right.
To see if it helps with the winter tick numbers.
Yeah, it's a real problem, isn't it?
And I am no biologist. There's so much grief and debate online. It's crazy to read the comments, and some people I know are genuine and think, yeah, the state of Maine's just they're so stupid and they're killing way too many moose. I don't know enough about winter ticks, nor do I study enough. I don't hunt zone 4, which I'm not saying I don't care. We don't have anywhere near the amount of winter ticks as the northern zones.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I want to see the herd go on for another hundreds of years so we can continue to hunt them and use them. But we don't have the problem here, so I really don't look into it. I don't think it's a bad theory. It makes sense to me, but it also makes sense to why hunters would be concerned why we're killing so many.
Yeah, that's always. It doesn't matter whether it's EHD or CWD with the whitetails. There's all different schools of thought on how our game agencies and biologists respond to these, and like you say, unless you can have an opinion or a feeling, but you don't have the science or the education, really to speak to it,
And this is factual. I talked about Lee Cantor, the Lee Maine moose biologist. This has probably been going on for, I don't remember the first year they started the adaptive hunt. But anyways, I think a real driving point to get this started was they radio collared and tagged, I don't remember what the number was. It was like 50 calf moose. And the way they do that is by helicopter. They go out and net them.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way it seems. They fire a net from the helicopter and tangle them enough where they can trank them and weigh them and do a tick count on them. Anyways, I think they targeted like 50 calves with cows, and the mortality rate that very first winter they did this study was like 80%.
Oh my God!
It was.
Wow.
I believe it was like 40 of them calves had died. They would go in to where the radio collar stopped moving, and they found, like I said, these 40 calves that it was obvious they had been killed by winter ticks.
Damn.
And obviously, that's a very big problem. 80%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
holy cow.
That's basically when this 4A adaptive hunt really got going, and I believe the drive really picked up to find the solution, which I don't think we have yet, but hopefully we're going in the right direction.
Yeah,
and back to what I said about I have friends, I have other guides that talk about how it's not the way it used to be, and moose hunting so hard. And don't get me wrong, it's not like fishing out of a barrel.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do your homework and you scout and you get off the roads and you get out of the truck and you actually hunt, there are plenty of moose to be out there to be hunted and killed.
Oh, yeah, it certainly seems it. And, just
I'm just getting back to like the comments you read online and someone from the outside looking in thinking, yeah, Maine is really, really struggling, and they might not have a moose hunt in a few years. I don't think that's even close to true.
It kind of sounds like way back it used to be like shooting fish in a barrel. There was so many more, right?
And a big driver of that is, and I'm guilty of this, we did the same on my first moose hunt when I was 11. We never left the truck, and I killed a bull on Wednesday, and it was the 28th moose we had seen.
Oh my
and
God.
that's just riding around in the truck, spotting them from the road.
Yeah.
But that's back when, and don't get me wrong, you can go up north and there are clear cuts for miles and miles and miles, but there's also 10 times the amount of hunters I talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
But like in Zone 11, I talk about, that was Zone 11, my very first bull hunt when I was 11. 28th moose we killed on Wednesday mornings. We had only hunted 2 full days in about an hour.
That's
if
incredible.
you did that right now in Zone 11, you might go all week and see 2 or 3 just by luck, seeing them in the road like you guys talked about during your bear week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The game has changed, and you got to get out of the truck and you got to go find them.
And to me, that's hunting. That's the way,
That's the way it should be. But
yes.
I think more or less once the hunt started in 1980, I don't want to say spoiled, but that was the way to kill them. You would just load up 2 or 3 trucks and 6 or 8 of your friends with coolers, and you might kill one in the first clear cut you see, because you might drive into it and there might be 20 standing out in this cut.
Oh my God.
And you just can't do that nowadays. And I think people get frustrated and just ride around and they say, geez, this sucks, and there's no moose, and that's just not the case. They're not hunting.
And they're probably a little bit more wary, obviously, on the humans.
Exactly. They have certainly evolved since 1980, and know that they know that they're basically a huntable species. And because the first moose hunt was 1980, I wasn't even thought of back then. But I would assume the very first moose hunt, you probably could have killed one with a bow and arrow just by walking up to it, because they had no reason to be scared of humans.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
You couldn't legally hunt one until 1980 in the state of Maine.
Yeah.
Damn.
So.
Well, it was interesting to me the night I killed my bear up there with you. Jimmy had my truck, and he was back out in another area, so I decided, I had enough daylight and everything. I'm like, I'm gonna go for a walk. I'm gonna hike all the way back to the truck, get a beer, and all the way back. I could not believe the amount of moose tracks I saw.
Oh yeah.
On those roads, and the area that I was in, that I'm saying where I saw all the moose tracks, that's not where we saw the moose.
No.
It was a long, I don't know, what was it, 8 or 10 miles back in there we were? Or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So, we'd see moose driving in and out at night, but that's like what you would see here for deer tracks. Like you walk and you go in the Adirondacks and walk logging road like that, or in the southern tier, and you're likely to see whitetail tracks everywhere. But there was moose. I could not believe the amount of moose tracks I saw.
Oh.
Just travel areas like walking to my tree stand. Especially that first spot you had me, there was that
washed out creek. There was always moose tracks.
Yep. Yeah, I was looking. I expected I was hoping to see one walk by. I thought it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, hey, congrats on some great hunts. I mean, and thank you for sharing those with us. That was just awesome. And for anybody listening to the podcast, if you want to see some of these pictures, as I say, AJ, the best way to see his pictures is on his Facebook. Really doesn't have a web page. Is that correct, AJ?
Yeah, no website. I just use Facebook.
Right. So you go on Facebook, Harris Hunting Adventures with AJ Harris, and follow AJ, and go on to his page, and you'll see. I think matter of fact, I know the video's on there because I was just on there yesterday and I saw it.
We've had what we have. I've been advertising for bear, and deer season has come and gone. It's probably you wouldn't have to search very long before you'd find the post. It's just down 6 or 8 posts. You'd find the video, pictures of it.
Yep. Well,
it's fairly recent on the page. You wouldn't have to look very long.
Yeah. Well, I'm so happy that you were able to bring it together for Jody there, and what an incredible hunt that was, and boy, you got some really nice moose for your clients, and great stories. I appreciate you sharing them. You can hear the passion and the excitement in your voice for the for going out and chasing those things, and you obviously understand them. You read them well.
That's what I was trying to get at earlier. I'm a full-time bear guide. I guarantee that I'm going to have 15 to 20 clients every fall, and it's going to be a good time. And it's obviously financially, it helps me and my family out and stuff like that. Moose, like I talked about with the competition and the amount of tags in this area, I'm not guaranteed a moose hunt every year, or a moose hunter, I should say.
Yeah.
So I have to say that bear is my favorite. But if I had to say one that I was most passionate about, it would definitely be moose.
Yeah, I can tell. And
bear is my favorite because it financially helps my family, and I do it so much more and appreciate it. Moose is almost like a treat that I'm not promised every year.
That's right. So when you get it, you really enjoy it.
And you're pretty damn good at being a bear guide too. I got to say it. I don't say enough good about what you have set up there. with the bear that we saw, and with not to backtrack, but with Brother Bill getting a bear and Jimmy getting a shot, and I saw a bear and stuff. It's
Jimmy got a nice tree.
He got a nice tree that he can tag, and try cooking it up or whatever. But yeah, I highly recommend AJ and the Harris Hunting Adventures to anybody interested in going north to Maine. But Bill, did you? I don't want to.
Yeah, AJ, let me ask you this: a personal question. What time the kids go to bed there?
Oh, they're getting ready, but we're fine.
All right, I don't want to keep you too long.
No,
yeah.
We're good. The wife's home, and she'll be fine. She'll understand.
All right. Well, we're at an hour and a half now, so I don't want to go too much longer. But I maybe just a quick synopsis of your deer season and tell us a little bit. Maybe I understand your wife got her first buck.
Yeah,
nine pointer, right?
Yeah, 9-pointer. This can certainly be a lot shorter than the moose and bear talk, but the deer herd is certainly getting much better. I think personally, every single year it seems like we're having more and more deer, and the numbers are getting better and better.
That's great.
I saw, and I don't take any deer hunters. You guys know this, so I get to hunt myself a little more. But then again, I'm full time at the mill, so I use all my vacation time for bear and moose.
Gotcha.
So a good deer season for me is getting out 8 or 10 times for 3 or 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So if I hunt 30 hours total a fall, that's about as much as I can ask for between work and helping out with the wife and the girls. And so I hunted. I don't know exactly how much I hunted. I'd say I hunted even less than that. And I saw 5 legal bucks, 2 that I certainly would have put on the wall.
Wow.
And I messed up on Veterans Day. I'll just say that. I messed up. I fired at a nice buck. Thought I absolutely rocked his world. Have no excuse. I don't know what happened. But I never found a drop of blood. Me, my father, and a friend looked for 2 hours. No blood, no hair, no sign of the deer. And I actually was convinced enough. I wasn't ready to give up. I called in a local dog and blood tracker.
Yeah.
And he came in. We looked for another 2 hours and never found that buck. I swear that I had broken his shoulder, and the way he was running off, I really thought I hurt him bad.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I shot him with 180 grain round nose .6, and we never found a drop of blood. So my father had a good point. I wasn't hunting very far from what's called Route 6, right the same route that I live on.
Yep.
I was a half mile from the mile or so from the pavement when I fired at him. Dad said maybe he was already hurt when you fired, because when I first I saw him. He was just standing there staring at me. I threw the gun up, said, "Yeah, he's good enough for me." Fired, and the very first movement I saw him make was broken shoulder. I thought.
Well, yeah, maybe he got hit by a car or something and was lamed up.
Dad said maybe when you saw him, he wasn't moving because he was already hurt, and you just happened to miss him. And which I would agree with that if I would have felt a little bad about the shot. I consider myself a pretty good shot with a rifle. He was only at 80 yards and he wasn't moving.
Yeah.
So I wasn't, and I shot my rifle afterwards. Obviously, it was right on, dead on at 80 yards. So I can't explain it. But I never found him.
Yeah.
Long story short, I take my wife into the same area the very next morning, and she killed hers probably a mile and a half from where I fired at mine, and she killed her very first deer, and it was you guys have seen pictures, obviously, 9-pointer. He dressed out at 175, I believe it was.
Yeah, beautiful buck.
And it's the very first year, and hopefully only year, that I got to drop a deer off at the taxidermist for her that isn't mine. Because that was Veterans Week, so that's November 12th.
Yeah.
So we still had roughly a month of the season left between 2 weeks of rifle and 2 weeks of muzzleloader. And after she killed hers, I saw another 2 or 3 bucks, a spike that I passed up. I might have been the biggest antlered deer I ever saw. I saw from the pickup flying. I was driving way too fast going into this spot, and I was going in for an afternoon hunt, so it wasn't like I was basically just traveling.
Yeah.
And I lucked out and saw this great big buck standing in the road. We had snow, and I saw every inch of his antlers with that white backdrop of the snowy road. And like I said, he might have been the biggest antler buck I've ever seen in Maine.
Wow.
He took off running, and long story short, I only had a couple hours to hunt that. No, so that was a morning hunt, if I remember right. Or maybe I had to pick the girls up after. I don't remember, but it had to do with the girls. I had to pick them up at the babysitters or grandmother's. So I couldn't hunt very long. I would have instantly got on his track, but I was limited with time, so I didn't even bother.
So do you
deer season went very well. My father killed one. My wife killed one. My brother-in-law killed one. A couple friends.
do you hunt the same area that like where your leases are for bear, or do you not hunt
every
that?
every once in a while, Bill? The lot you guys hunted in Lincoln.
Yeah.
The very very first year that I had never set foot on that lot until I got the bear lease. In that first summer that I bear baited on it, I said, "Geez, this would be dynamite for deer."
Yeah.
And I hunted that one a couple times that fall with some good success, but I don't. I should say sure, because I'm so familiar with my bear leases that I definitely deer hunt them, but I certainly have a few favorite road systems and areas that I don't have baits anywhere near that I would call probably my favorite deer hunting spots.
Yeah. All right. I was just curious. But you know where they are. And there was one picture on your Facebook page of a very heavy beamed buck. I don't know if he was a 10 point.
That's the one running at the camera.
No, he's dead.
Yes. Yes, I just saw your notification today that you like. That's the one I killed with my muzzleloader here in Maine. It's 2026. That must have been like 2022.
Oh, okay.
I killed him, I think, on December 2nd. I was working a night shift the night prior, and didn't even know we were getting snow. Left the mill, started driving home, and we drove into the storm. Come to find out, it had been snowing all night at home. We had got like a fresh 6 inches of snow.
Yeah.
The wife was at work, 6 months pregnant. My oldest, Callie, was at the babysitter's because we were both working at this point. And I said, screw it. No one's home. I'm going to go try to track a buck for a couple hours.
There you go.
Before I get some sleep, sure enough, I got on his track and actually grunted him back into me.
Did you really? Yeah.
Yeah. I saw him out ahead of me. He had a spike on with him. I saw the spike first. And after 2 or 3 seconds of them milling around, I saw a second deer with him, realized it was the buck that I killed, and I grunted at him. And he come tiptoeing right back in. I killed him at probably, 30 yards.
Yeah, what a gorgeous buck that was.
But this is another good story. I'll keep it short and sweet. But anyways, I got home at 7, got on his track by probably 8, killed him around 9:30, got him back to the truck and tagged by noontime. I had dressed him and dragged him, obviously, so I smelt like rotten bucks do. I got home and showered and changed my clothes quick, and I had to go to Bangor because it was Harley's, I think, her second trimester.
Oh, okay, for a doctor's appointment?
Baby appointment.
Yep.
For Alex, sat into that. So now it's 2 o'clock, and I got on Route 9 and drove the back way into work on no sleep to work a Saturday night shift.
Oh my gosh!
but it was every bit worth it.
Oh God!
Heck yeah, that's cool.
He was a good one. That's my best muzzleloader buck.
You'll have to go on there and look at that one, Tim. That was a hell of a buck. Yeah. Well, hey, so did your wife just start hunting, or was this just the first time she's connected?
She never hunted before we met, which was 12 years ago now. And she's gone in the 12 years we've been together, She's gone turkey hunting with me a couple mornings. She's gone deer hunting with me maybe a dozen times. I put her in for the moose draw every year, but she hasn't got drawn.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe she sat on a bear bait with me one night. But after she killed that buck this fall, I told her, I said, we have got to get you. And she definitely enjoys it. I don't think it would be something she would want to do on her own.
Mm-hmm.
And not even being scared. It would just be, she would certainly sit on a bear bait on her own without being worried.
Right.
I just don't think it would be much fun for her.
Yeah.
But if I told her, I said, I don't care if we do it the third week after hunters are gone, or we do it the first week after all the hunters are tagged out. I said, but I am getting you in a bear blind, and you're shooting your first bear on a bait this fall. So that's our new goal.
That's
Good.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
That's nice. Well, congratulations to her. She's a
Oh,
good
yeah.
woman, tolerating your bear antics and hauling around all your baits and everything. And then you go on a moose hunt on your 10th anniversary.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
She I don't want to make her seem too innocent. She asked me when opening night of moose was, and when I told her September 22nd is the Monday of open week, being our anniversary night, she rolled her eyes and she said, as long as I get the check. And that was the deal I made.
All right, fair enough.
did you make good on it?
Oh yeah, I gave her the check. I'm not gonna say she spent it all on herself, but I told her, I said, you just remember, if I want to go moose hunting any fall,
That's
that
right.
you make sure you say yes.
That's right.
Got to keep Mama happy.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Hey, looking to wind it down here a little bit. Why don't you give us a rundown on your raffle? Obviously,
Yeah.
Tim and I already know because we bought into
Yep.
it. But
Well,
tell our listeners a little bit about what you got going on there.
I myself am donating a free bear hunt in hopes to raise enough money to give away 2 veteran hunts. And all the money, I'm only selling 250 tickets at $10 a piece, so I'm looking to raise $2,500 just to pay for the lodging and food for these 2 veterans that I have not picked yet. Once I get the money, because obviously, say the raffle doesn't go well and I only sell 100 tickets,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna I'll do 1 hunt and I'll try to do maybe 3 next year and start the lottery a little earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
anyway, I'm trying to get money for lodging and meals for 2 veteran hunts, which I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to have either a all veteran week or an all youth week, and I've just never done it. And I've always wanted to do it. I guess I haven't pulled the trigger. And this year, I told myself, I said, enough is enough. I want to get a couple veterans in camp and do something really cool. And I haven't reached out to, I know there's, what are a couple of the groups that take care of all the veteran hunts, Freedom Fighters and Operation Reboot.
Mm-hmm.
I think all I'm going to do is once I determine, once I get the 2,500 and pay for lodging, I might want to give away 3 or 4 hunts this fall.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really decided yet. I just need to know how much lodging I'm going to be able to get for these guys and whether I'm going to need to get something, say wheelchair accessible or
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. But I forgot where I was going with that.
Well, really, to try and get to that $2,500 number to and get a start in it, right?
Yeah, and I it's something I'd like to do every year. I'd like to, like I said, I'd like to make 1 week just full of wounded veterans or
Mm-hmm. Yep.
just veterans in need. Maybe every once in a while do a youth hunt, try to get the youth involved and have 5 or 6 youth with their parents or guardians come with them, just something like that, just to be a little, I don't want to say different because so many guys do it, but it's for such a great cause. I just kind of like to join the cause, I guess.
Yeah, really. That's awesome.
Yeah, I know. I love the fact that you're working at this and doing it, and we're trying the best we can to put the word out and get. I mean, $10 for a ticket, for the
that's kind of how I've been trying to sell it to him. It's my bear hunts are 2,000, so it's you're taking a chance on a $10 bear hunt.
Yeah.
Right.
So what's there to go wrong? It's basically, and I think I've sold, counting you guys. Just me and Harley just talked about it. She asked me how it was going, which I wouldn't say it's been going good, but I do realize that I just started this raffle idea just a couple weeks ago. But I think I've sold like 100 tickets, I think.
Wow. Okay.
I'm almost at the halfway point, which I know is not bad. I shouldn't be complaining.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really good.
I think on one of my posts, I picked a date that I was going to do the drawing. I want to say it was April 1st.
Yeah, it was April. Yeah.
I guess I more or less I want everything ironed out before April, like talking to Operation Reboot, and I was thinking at $10 a piece. I thought they were going to sell in a week, and I was going to have this all ironed out. But I think it's going to be a little longer.
Yeah, I think it's it's a new thing, and people getting the word out there to people who aren't familiar with your business and what you're about, and and it's obviously like Bill and myself, having spent a week with you, we know where your heart is, and we trust you. And I know you have people I see on Facebook asking questions, want to learn a little bit more about it, which I get that too.
I certainly get that too. I know it seems like, I don't want to say weird. I didn't make anything weird in the post other than
nope.
I claimed that I'm raffling off a bear hunt. Here's my Venmo. I certainly see where that looks strange.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you were being questioned by a couple. One guy was really grilling you pretty good, and I responded on your behalf. I said, look at the guy, I defended you on there a little bit and said, you got this. This is a good thing. It really is.
Yeah, and it's
short enough, like you asked. It's basically, I'm just looking for funds to get a few veterans out, and it's just all, again, either my cell phone or Facebook if anyone wants to contact me, and basically, as long as you have Venmo. And I even told guys, if you want to send me a check, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would just prefer Venmo. I don't want someone to send a check, and obviously a few tickets I wouldn't worry about, but I just want to kind of keep it all on the same platform so I can keep track. And
it's easier for you. Yeah.
Everyone's name, and it just make the drawing go so much smoother, having everyone on the same.
Yep. Well, we'll keep pushing that for you, and I hope you get to your $2,500 limit or
250
tickets.
Yep.
Which would put you at $2,500,
and my big. I was hoping more or less to get two of the cabins you guys stayed in when you hunted.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right there at Sleeping Bear. So
which is beautiful.
Oh my God,
that
they were
would
gorgeous.
Take care of lodging for say two veterans, whether they were wounded vets or anything else. Basically, I'm giving away one hunt to help pay for two. So all around, I think it's a good cause and something I'd want to do every year.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to catch on and grow, and just get the word out there. And $10 for a bear hunt, on chance, 1 in 250. I mean, obviously, $10 is cheap. I'm going to spend more than $10, and I'm kind of keep trickling in. You're probably going to see my name pop up again. I'm probably going to buy some more tickets.
You're reading my mind.
I'm sprinkling it,
Yeah. I'll keep buying them right up till April 1st.
I know.
Where the heck you going? We'll have a lot of chances in on it.
Hell yeah.
Well, good for you, and thanks for doing that. That's one. We have many veterans. Tim and I are not among them, but we have many veterans in our family. Nephews and brother, and our dad was. So we appreciate your efforts in that arena.
Yeah, very cool.
Very noble cause. So thank you for that. And so how's it going booking for next year? Right now, you're in the process. I see you're advertising.
Yeah, right now, like I said, I always try to get around that 20 number, but that's what's best for the amount of baits that I have and cabins I rent and lot sizes. Basically, I don't want to take any more than 20.
Yep.
But right now I'd have to look in my book, Bill, but I think I have 11 definitely fully committed, being all return being all return clients.
Yep, good
and
for you.
And I've had 3 or 4 new groups that are roughly the size of you guys' group, you, Jimmy, and Tim, that were three or 4 different groups that want to book. So
you're getting there. You're close.
Yep.
Very good.
Yeah.
No, I'm still looking for a couple groups of 4 would get me close to that 20 number. So.
Yep.
Well, I'll still work on who I can drag up there with me. I'll definitely be there. So.
Yeah. Looking forward to it, pal.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, anything else, Tim, you wanted to add?
No, this was great. I'm all excited. I can't wait to put in for the Maine Moose Lottery here.
That's
what's
that?
Yep. Is that early? Is that open up early May or late April? AJ?
Geez, you'd have to ask me that. You can put in, I believe it's May 15th, I want to say.
Yeah, because I usually get an email notification because I do it every year, and I knew it was around May, and then I knew the drawing is right around Father's Day in June, I believe.
Yeah,
somewhere in there.
Yeah, I believe it's like May 15th and around June 15th, roughly.
Yeah,
is the deadline to put in to the day that they actually draw.
Nice. Well, I'll be putting in this year too.
Yeah.
Start putting in every year.
And it's kind of fun. You get somebody who can go as your sub permittee.
Yep.
So you can get a buddy, or you can flip flop people, and that makes it even more interesting and more fun.
And a lot of people don't really understand that because there's not many hunts or animals that you have a sub permittee, I believe. But that doesn't mean that Bill gets drawn and he signs his tag over to you, Tim. You can both legally fire at the moose, so that makes it, like you said, every bit more enjoyable and more almost like a team experience.
Yeah, exactly.
You can have 2 shooters and you can both legally harvest the moose, so it's not like it's one tag, one shooter, and you can just give it to your sub permittee. You can both hunt the moose.
Yeah,
which makes it even more fun. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know it's really pretty cool. So I'm even more psyched up to put in for it this year because I definitely would love to hunt with you.
Now that we got a guide.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, AJ, thank you for your time. Anything you wanted to add? We talked a little bit about your merch. So next year, this fall, you'll have some probably hats and sweatshirts or T-shirts, right?
Yeah. No. I'm definitely going to make. I'm sorry for the traffic noise. I'm out front on my porch right now, but no, when you guys showed up, it was just one of them years that I don't know if it was the girls were 1 year younger and wild and crazy, and I had a little more on my plate or what, but I didn't make an order, and you guys showed up, and I didn't have anything for you. But this year, I'm certainly going to have sweatshirts, T-shirts. I've even got koozies in the past just because the guy that makes everything for me is giving me a good deal. But
yeah, no, that's great. That's great.
I'll definitely have some stuff headed your way when brother comes up this fall.
Yeah, sounds good.
The 500 pounder with me when you're
hell yeah. There you go.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, hey, thanks, AJ. I appreciate you coming on with us. And anything you got in closing you want to share with us?
No, I can't think of anything right now, but I'm sure we'll have more topics in the past, and I'd love to get back on with you guys. It's fun.
Yeah. I appreciate it. It's great, and it's we've done some stuff out west in Colorado. My son has, but we haven't we did some hunts in PA for turkey. But this is pretty cool to we did the bear, but then we were genuinely interested in and enthused to hear about your moose experiences. So thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
Yeah, we'll definitely do something again, see how the moose lottery pans out, and or see what happens with me and whoever else comes up this fall. So we'll definitely be in touch, and we can do some more podcasts.
All right, sounds good.
All right, take care, AJ.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
buddy.
AJ.
We'll see
Have
you.
a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye. Keep feeding them.